I'll be the first to admit that Scream Queens is an award-winning television, but it's probably the show I DVR the most. For a while, I couldn't figure out what I liked about it so much, or what made it different. There are dozens of other shows that focus on the Greek system in America, and there are at least 3 shows that follow elite, pretentious, and annoying teenagers trying to outrun a killer. Seriously, there are more shows on the air right now about masked serial killers and teenage dreamers than I can ever remember. It wasn't until I sat down to watch Scream Queens with a friend, after talking their ear off for weeks about how great it was, that I realized why I loved it. Scream Queens does for horror what Mean Girls did for comedy. Let's back it up a little and note the obvious similarities. Both shows focus on a group of popular, attractive women who sit atop the social ladder.
A lot of people talk smack about how sororities are exclusive and they're a class system. Well, guess what? Life is a class system.
In Mean Girls, Regina George and the Plastics are the group that every other girl wants to be a part of.
If North Shore was Us Weekly, they would always be on the cover.
In Scream Queens, the Chanels, led by the fearless Chanel No. 1,
Good morning, Slits.
are the heads of their sorority. The Plastics lead the perfect American life. They're popular, attractive, and privileged in every aspect of their life.
This is your room? It was my parents' room, but I made them trade me.
It's the same for the Chanels. If it wasn't for the introduction of Katie, the lackluster pledges, and the deranged serial killer, they would be living a 17-year-old's American dream. Similar to how Mean Girls based its comedy in the upheaval that the Plastics go through when Katie enters the fold, Scream Queens finds its horror in a group of new pledges that they're forced to allow into the sorority. Katie and the pledges represent something that's terrifying to any teenage girl growing up. They're already outsiders, and they're different than what the status quo says is cool. When Katie starts school, she tries to make friends by walking through the cafeteria and looking for someone she can relate to. But when she's ostracized for being different, she quickly learns she has to do whatever she can to be liked. An invitation from the Plastics to eat lunch every day with them for a week means social acceptance, and she gladly takes them up on the offer. Even if that means she has to wear pink on Wednesdays, can't date friends' ex-boyfriends, and can only wear her hair up once a week. As co-plastic Gretchen Wiener says,
I mean, that's just like the rules of feminism.
the pledges' differences are a little more obvious. They couldn't be more different from the Chanels, and it absolutely terrifies the 4 main sorority sisters. But, much like Katie, the pledges will do whatever they can to be accepted by Chanel.
My muscles have atrophied, and the pain from not wearing my brace has me on the verge of passing out, but I've never been happier in my whole life. Chanel says I can hold her hair back now on purge nights.
They don't care that they're losing their identity because they're part of a sorority. And Chanel No. 1 doesn't care that she's being inhumane because it lets her maintain the status quo.
You're an awful person.
Maybe. But I'm rich and I'm pretty, so it doesn't really matter.
Both shows use the fear of being different to strike a chord, whether for the sake of comedy or horror. The serious core message is, embrace what makes you special. But neither one sacrifices entertainment to get the message across. Even with people getting killed off each week, or Regina George getting hit by a bus, there's a never-ending optimism to both Mean Girls and Scream Queens that reminds us that everything is gonna be okay. But seriously, look both ways before you cross the street. Safety first.
I'm sure I can walk if I can just get some Gatorade.
I don't care if you can walk. How are we supposed to get you to the front door without everyone seeing you all gross and postpartum? No one wants to see that at a party.
Right. Of course. This is super embarrassing. I didn't even know I was pregnant.